Hey, happy day 510 of documenting my journey of transitioning from the offline brick and mortar world of corporate America and real different types of businesses and industries that you had to go into every day to the online world of business where I can show up in my pajamas, wrapped up in a blankie because I am cold, sipping hot coffee. I don't know why, because it looks like a beautiful summer day, but it's just a little bit of chill in the air this morning. So I want to talk about giving your all. Give your all. Give it all away. And I know there's a lot of fear around this. I was being interviewed for a women's summit yesterday, and one of the questions the amazing woman asked me was, well, how do you balance what you give away? Because I was talking about challenges. I'm kind of getting to be the challenge queen. I've done them for decades, and I didn't even realize that was something that was going to be a big deal. And now people all around us are doing challenges. And so my topic was on challenges. And one of the questions she asked me was, how do you balance the amount of what you're giving away to people so that you're not giving away so much, like giving away the farm, so that they won't take you up on your offer? And this is a really important and really interesting subject. And I didn't come to it overnight. It was definitely decades in the making. But I realized one day that this question in and of itself comes from the assumption that there isn't enough information in me. I don't have enough to give, so I have to give away a little bit and then charge people for all the rest of the information that I provide them with, or the services and the products that I provide them with. And I think marketing has led us down this path where we give a little taste. And I was in not the grocery industry, but I was in the food industry, and we have the same mentality there. We have to give away a sampling of the product. We have to give people a taste of the product or service that we're providing. I can't tell you how many hours and I should add this up because I'm sure it's a huge number. I actually spent standing in the frozen food department of a grocery store, cutting up and giving away samples of our handmade Italian food. I personally did that. I had demo ladies that did that for years, and we did that forever, giving away a little taste. So giving a little taste in the hopes that somebody would later on then buy our product or service. And I think that was backwards and kind of messed up, because although it works on a short-term strategy because people want to sample, and it does, I'm going to take that back. It totally 100% is effective and works. But we don't need to just give people a little sample. We need to give them our best. When I do a challenge, I'm not just giving people a little taste of what I can teach them and share with them and do. I am giving them everything I possibly can at the moment that I'm delivering that, so that they can get the result that they want. And I think we need to bring that with everything we do, especially in the online world. The more, and it's a universal law, the more we give away, the more we get back in return. It's the law of reciprocity. And you can look that up. I'm not going to talk about universal laws, but the overriding universal truth is that there are laws of the universe, and they have nothing to do with the laws of mankind or even the laws of, well, I guess God would probably have similar laws, but for the most part, the laws of the universe affect all of us whether we believe them or not. So reciprocity, the law of reciprocity, the law of cause and effect, which is, I guess, probably more the right law to be quoting on this or talking about on this, is that when we give something, it causes something. We're the cause when we give something, and the effect is that we receive something in return. But I loved the question because it was a long time coming for me. I used to have the scarcity mentality, and I now know and believe, for me anyway, that being afraid to give your best in any situation comes from fear. It comes from, which scarcity and lack are fear-based thoughts and feelings, right? The only reason we want to protect ourselves is because we're afraid something bad is going to happen. The only reason we don't want to give our best is because we're afraid that if we give too much away, well, then they're not going to buy. Well, if they're not going to buy, then they're not the right people for us, right? My goal now isn't to work with everybody. My goal is to only work with the few people that I'm here on this planet to positively impact and have an impact on their lives. I don't look to I'm sure a lot of people are like, okay, you're crazy. You got a side ponytail today. What are you talking about? You're sitting there in your pajamas, sipping coffee out of a dog mug. Why on earth would I listen to you? And guess what? That is 100% intentional because I want to filter out those people. I want to filter out the people that don't see beyond the masks that everybody else wears, right? And that they're probably wearing. I want to filter out people that wouldn't be a fit for me because they wouldn't hear what I have to offer. They won't even hear it or see it because they're not ready for it. Not because it isn't there and I don't have it to offer to them, but because they're not at a point in their life where they're able to see and experience it yet, because mostly it's a yet. And the same is true with abundance and scarcity. And that is such a, it's such a common question and such a common fear. It's such a common thing that I wanted to talk about it today because what I found and what I told the interviewer was, I used to think that too. I used to believe that too. I used to sit and plan out, okay, well, what am I going to share? Not on my challenges, because those I just put everything in there. Because my only goal in a challenge is to make sure that if you're participating, you get the result that I'm promising you. And I will do everything and anything I can to make sure that you get that result. That's the purpose of challenges to me. I know there's a lot of people doing challenges online nowadays, and their purpose is to sort of get you a result, but it's really just to get you to work with them further and to sell you their bigger program or their higher ticket program. And no, don't get me wrong, I offer people a higher ticket program too, but I don't offer it to hardly anybody. I only offer it to my connections, my raving fans, the people that I know that we have a connection and we should be in one another's lives and we should be working together. I don't offer my services or my products more so to more people, but my services, absolutely positively not. I don't offer them to hardly anybody these days. My time is too precious. The older we get, I think the more we realize our time is precious. But to me, that question, again, it speaks so to believing that if I give you too much, then you're not going to buy anything from me. And that is definitely out of fear because people will. The right people will buy from you. The wrong people won't. And you want to filter them out anyway in anything that you're doing. So I'm going to say give all you can because you're going to get that and tenfold in return. You know, it goes back, it's not me making this up. It goes back to biblical times and so many stories, and even before biblical times, that what we put into anything is what we get back. You're never going to get more out of something than you put into it. Now, I can hear people that do investments in crypto and stocks and all these crazy things saying, oh, that's absolutely false. And I'm going to contend that short term, yep, you can get more out of things than you put into them, but long term, no. And especially real long term, as far as our being and our life and what's really important matters, absolutely not. I mean, a lot of times we see the surface of we think evil people winning, but in the long term, they never really win. The same is true of us holding back. If we're holding back something and not giving our all, we're doing a disservice to the people that we're here to serve. And mostly we're doing a disservice to ourselves because we are here to experience life as only we can. And that involves being the best version of ourselves, continually improving and always getting better and always giving more. And what I also reminded her of is the more I give, the more I have to give, because I'm kind of more, I think we're all more of a conduit than we are actual creators of anything. I think that we all have the ability to tap into a knowledge and a wisdom that is much greater than ourselves, but that only happens when we're allowing that knowledge and that wisdom and that information to flow through us. And that sounds kind of woo-woo, but it's not really woo-woo at all. And I think that we've almost all experienced that. When we are being 100% ourselves and when we are sharing, you know, say you're talking to a friend that's got a problem or is in a difficult situation and you're trying to help that person through it, and you've been through something like that yourself, you do everything and anything you can to help that person feel better. I think of, you know, somebody that's grieving when they've lost somebody they love or care about. If you've been through that situation and they're your a family member or friend, you will do whatever it takes and whatever you can, whatever's within your power, whatever resources you have to help that person to feel better and be better about the situation. You don't hold back, oh, I have this cool technique or strategy that I know would help them feel better, but I'm not going to tell them about it because, I want to sell it to them down the road. Really? No. You give them everything you've got. I mean, I share absolutely everything that I know with people. And then I realize as I'm sharing it, oh my God, I know so much more, or I have access to this person or this resource that can give us so much more clarity and so much more information on that. We will never run out of ideas. We will never run out of things to talk about. We will never run out of things to do and create if we're working with the right people, if we are doing the right thing for us. I think it's interesting. There's a big discussion online often about content creation. And oh my God, I'm going to run out of things to talk about or ideas. Now, I've done literally thousands, more than 2,000 live video episodes and podcast episodes and things just in the last probably under 2 years. And I always have something to talk about. I always have something that I can share and give and talk about every single day. And I know there's people that haven't even done their first podcast or their first Facebook Live or their first live video that are saying to themselves, well, I don't have anything to offer. I don't know what I'm going to talk about. And I'm just a lady in my pajamas that happens to have had lots of experiences in my life that I can draw upon and share. And you do too. If you've been around for any amount of time and you're listening to me, you probably have got so many things that you can share with people that you just are not even appreciating. So that's my little diatribe about give it your all. Give everything you've got. And guess what? That will attract the right people to you, and you will always have more to give. I absolutely positively guarantee it. More begets more, not less begets more. That's just a marketing ploy, and you can behave that way, but watch how your business changes and grows. Watch how your life changes and grows when you give your all to your relationships, when you give your all and your best to other people, not holding back. And relationships are a great example of this. I'm divorced, so I guess I'm experienced in the opposite. But if we give our all, number one, we always get to feel good about ourselves. Number two, it does come back to us. It might not come back to us from the same person or situation that we give our all to, but we always get rewarded in much greater form than what we've given. Now, here's the rub about this and a big caution and warning. Guess what? If you put out a lot of negative crap and a lot of bad things, guess what? That's exactly what you're going to get back tenfold too. So next time you want to bitch and moan and complain about something, just think of that. Okay, if I spend 5 minutes bitching, moaning, and complaining about this, I can expect 50 minutes or more, and this is just my brain made up rule of thumb, of bad negative stuff and whining or something negative happening to me. Do I really want to do that? I say no, so I pretty much just skip the whole bitching, whining, moaning, complaining about other people or other situations or things these days. Did I always do that? No, absolutely not. That's one of those other things that it might take you years or decades or a lot of multiple exposures to learn that lesson and say, okay, yeah, no, I just don't do that. And, God, when I think back about how I was in high school, I mean, I was a terror in some ways in terms of how I treated other people. And even in my early career, I mean, it was my way or the highway, and that was all ego. And it wasn't until I had a lot of experiences in a lot of different situations that taught me to be a lot more humble and a lot more open and flexible in my thinking that I adopted those ways of being and understanding and a lot more accepting of people. And then I got maybe too far the other way where, yeah, as long as it's not hurting me or other people, do your own thing. And I still believe that. I think that it's important. It works for me anyway. So what am I working on? Let's get off this topic and say, what am I working on? Because that's what we're here for, is talking about and documenting my progress in terms of what I'm doing in my online businesses. So 90-day challenge, day 50 today. We are doing the sideways presentation, or I'm teaching the sideways presentation, and I'm breaking it down into painstakingly small pieces so that we practice the pieces. Because when we break things down and practice the little pieces and then we put them together, it becomes something that is almost automatic for us. Our ability to tell stories in a certain way that really reaches the people that we're talking to. So today we're talking about the new story, the new hope, based on the solution that we provide for people. So I am talking to women with chronic pain or chronic illness and how they can make money, because a lot of what I've found is a lot of us, because I found myself in that situation as well, we end up dependent on the wrong people and on the wrong things, and on that takes away all of our personal power and all of our control. And the less personal power that we feel like we have, or the less control, the more our pain and illnesses impact us, and it becomes this vicious downward spiral. And been there, done that, lived through it, survived, coming out on the other side of that. And I want to share my story today about the solution that I found and I finally landed on. And it wasn't the first one. I've gone through many solutions, but the one that I found and is working for me now, that's the story that I want to share, because that's what I'm going to be teaching people about. So the 90-day challenge and my same old projects, I think I've talked about enough. The move, so slow. Other things coming down the pipe that are super exciting. I actually was talking to the lady that interviewed me yesterday for this women's summit. I'm thinking about re-upping and relaunching the women's summit I did earlier this year about customers, all about customers, because no matter what, we all are always looking for customers. And it's a thing, you don't get to just stop looking for customers one day. Well, you can, but then your business will dry up and die, because we always need a continually influx of people, or our same people that we love coming back to us time and time again. So I'm thinking that that is going to reemerge this summer again, because it's just so powerful. I think that we need to share that information with people over and over again. The content's incredible in that, and why would I not bring it back up? I'm going to add a few more speakers and a few more things to it. I think I might do some masterminds or in-depth workshops or something with it that would be fun. I would love to hear what you think about that, or what you would like to see. But I don't know anybody that has a business that isn't interested in customers. And even if you have too many customers, that's another challenge and something that needs to be addressed as well, because how can you scale and grow then and make sure that you're meeting the needs of all the people that you're attracting? So that's it. Go out, make it a fantastic day. Thanks for listening about giving it your all, because I think that what you put into it is what you're going to get out. And again, not necessarily from the person you give it to, but the world rewards us based on how much we give, how much of ourselves we actually invest and put into things. All right. Have an awesome day. I'll, of course, be with you tomorrow.